It's hard to pick one thing in Shakespeare's plays that is, my favorite thing, but one character whose lines I love reading is the character of Caliban in The Tempest. And, Caliban is, portrayed in the play as this slave of the magician Prospero, this being who's maybe not even fully human. And as we go through the ways in which Prospero and other characters in the play encounter Caliban, they're always questioning whether he is human at all. Prospero says, for example, that he treated Caliban with kindness, but he only understands lashes and violence. And we can unpack Caliban in the context of the 16th and 17th centuries voyages of exploration. So, for example, the very word Caliban is an anagram of cannibal. The cannibals are, of course, people who eat human flesh, and that very word comes out of a Caribbean language for one of the Caribbean peoples. So in the 16th century, there was this anxiety about the very concept of the human. And the reason for that is that different climates were supposed to act on people's bodies and make their minds and their bodies different. So if you went to a climate that was very, very harsh, so it was extremely cold because it was at a high latitude, or extremely hot because it was at the equator, your mind and body would be changed. And so in an age of exploration, that does beg the question, well, if you go to a really harsh climate, is your own body and mind going to change? Is it going to become like one of those monstrous peoples written about in ancient texts, like Pliny's Natural History? So when, on the one hand, Prospero is trying to monstrify Caliban, to say he's not human, and yet, on the other hand, he's frightened that Caliban is capable of impregnating his daughter. You see there the boundary between the human and the monstrous. They're not actually terribly separate. There are ways of breaking through that boundary because it's not really there. And that question of the invention of the human and its boundaries in relation to the concept of the monster was something I wrote about in my first book, Renaissance Ethnography and the Invention of the Human, New Worlds, Maps and Monsters.